Good morning students. I hope you all are doing well. In my last video, I have explained you about the Kingdom 1 Monera, which is categorized by R.H. Whittaker. So today I am going to explain about the Kingdom 2, which you can see on the screen about the Protista. Now all the unicellular eukaryotic organism are placed under this kingdom, Protista. Unicellular means organism which are made up of single cell. They are simple but they are just eukaryotic. They have the well developed nucleus and other cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulums. They are not prokaryotes. Remember, these Protista are unicellular eukaryotic organism. They have defined nucleus and other cell organelles. For locomotion, they use hair-like structures, like in case of paramecium. You can see all over the body surface, paramecium have cilia, so they are hair-like structures. Then Euglena, they have the flagella, like bacteria, they also have a locomotory organ, flagella. And amoeba, they have pseudopodia. So with the help of these pseudopodia, they can change their shapes and they can move. So these three are the example of Protista: amoeba, Euglena and paramecium. Some protists are plant-like with celluloic cell wall. So some protists have the cell wall made up of cellulose, and they have the chloroplast, and they are called algae. So algae also comes under, like blue green algae, they comes under Protista, and they have the chloroplast, so they are able to do the photosynthesis. So they are autotrophic in nature, in nutrition. Now some protists have animal-like cells. Animal-like cells means they do not have the cell wall and chloroplast, and they belong to protozoa. So these protozoans, they are just animal-like, they do not have the cell wall, they belong to protozoa. So here are three examples are given. You can see in the figure also, amoeba, paramecium and Euglena, they are called they comes under protozoans. They are protozoa, and they follow heterotrophic nutrition. They are heterotrophs. They derive their food from other autotrophs or other animals. So these are the example of Protista. Unicellular algae, example is Chlamydomonas, which is a blue-green algae, and they are plant-like. And other three, animal, paramecium and Euglena, they are animal-like. So this Chlamydomonas, they have the chloroplast, they are plant-like. So Chlamydomonas is autotrophic in nature. They can produce their own food by photosynthesis. And amoeba, paramecium and Euglena are heterotrophs. So let's study about amoeba. So amoeba is a unicellular organism, and where it is found? It is found in ponds, ditches, or even the standing waters, stagnant water. It is irregular in shape. I told you they have the pseudopodia. You can see here they have the pseudopodia. They are also called as false feet. So their pseudopodia, they can change the shape by the formation of new pseudopodia. So and these pseudopodia helps amoeba in movement also. So they are also called as false feet. You can underline this line. Amoeba moves by forming new pseudopodia in the direction of movement. So wherever they want to go, they just change their shape of the pseudopodia or false feet, and they can move forward. Now pseudopodia also helps in ingestion of prey. So they want to for prey, ingesting prey, they can use pseudopodia also. So it is given in the, it is showing in the figure 2.6. You can see the food particle, how they are just catching the food particle. So by changing the pseudopodia ingesting food. So by changing the shape of the pseudopodia, they are covering the food particle, which is here in red in color, and then food being digested inside the food vacuole. So this food get absorbed into the internal membrane, and it is get digested by different enzymes present inside the amoeba body. Now when it get digested and absorbed by the protoplasm, the other unwanted or excretory product again from through this route only, pseudopodia route only comes out from the cells. So this process is called diaperesis. Okay, so this you will learn in the higher classes also. Just remember that ingestion of a prey or a food particle, they take up inside in their body with the help of pseudopodia only, and they digest it, absorb the nutrients, and the unwanted they removed out from their body. Now body of amoeba is covered by a thin cell membrane. So their cell membrane is very thin, only single cell membrane is there. So you can see here labeling is also given in the 2.5 figure. Amoeba, one contractile vacuole is there, nucleus is there, cell membrane is there, food vacuoles are also there so that they can store their food, and the cytoplasm is there. So the cytoplasm has a nucleus in the center. You can see in the figure 2.5 they have a large contractile vacuole. Contractile means that vacuole also contract, they can also change the shape. And this vacuole you can see here, this vacuole is filled with the water and one or more food vacuoles. Now digestion of food occurs inside the food vacuole. So in the food vacuole only you can see in these there are so many many number of food vacuole. So in the food vacuole only they digest their food, and the undigested food is excreted out from their body through the cell membrane. So when so this is the full process. Now what is the function of contractile vacuole? So contractile vacuole help in the excretion of amoeba. So this amoeba is a excretory product. It is a nitrogenous waste. So it has to be removed from the body. So it is a excretory product. So a contractile vacuole help in the excretion of ammonia. So remember this thing, you can underline also. Contractile vacuole helps in the excretion of ammonia. Ammonia is a nitrogenous base, NH3, and the removal of excess water. So excess water is also along with the ammonia, excess water also removed from the cytoplasm. Now in amoeba, exchange of gases means for respiration takes place through the cell membrane. So you know, like we have the lungs for respiration, amoeba have cell membrane. Through the cell membrane only they can excrete their the excess water, and they can even respire. Respire means they oxygen dissolved in water, because they live in the pond, ditches and all, so they are water animals. So oxygen dissolved in water diffuses out into cytoplasm, and carbon dioxide diffuses out. So they take in oxygen through the cell membrane, and they take out carbon dioxide through the cell membrane only. Now this is all about the respiration. Now how they reproduce? So amoeba reproduce by binary fission method. So you can see here in the picture binary fission in amoeba they are showing. So one parent amoeba is divided, their nucleus also divided first. So their nucleus divide first and then cytoplasm. So one parent amoeba give rise to two daughter amoeba cells. So you can see this is called binary. Bi means two or both. So from one amoebal parent cell, we will get the two daughter amoeba cells. Now during unfavorable condition, what they do during unfavorable condition, they undergo multiple fission, not binary fission. So remember this, whenever they found any unfavorable conditions, they will undergo multiple fission within the parent body only. So they form a cyst and then divides into different or many amoebulae. So you can see here small tiny structure. Here you can see, so this is the structure of the cyst. This cyst like structure they form inside the parent body only. So it has nucleus, cytoplasm, 3 layered cyst wall, so that external high current, water currents or any other animal will not harm them, or any other gas or any poisonous or chemical substance. So they remain, they divide inside the parent body, that is called amoebulae, and whenever they will get the favorable condition, this cyst wall ruptured and all the daughter amoebae they release into the water. So this is the remember this thing, for reproduction they use only binary fission, but unfavorable condition they reproduced through multiple fission in case of only unfavorable condition. So diagram is also given here. So this is a short one. So this is the second kingdom. Now the third kingdom is kingdom fungi. So what is the characteristics of features of kingdom fungi? So fungi are also simple, they are non-green, they are multicellular eukaryotes, means they are not like protista, they are not unicellular, they are multicellular, their body is made up of multiple cells. They are eukaryote, they also have a well developed nucleus and other cell organelles, except yeast cell. So this is a exception, because yeast is the unicellular fungus. It is a fungus, but it is a unicellular. So where they grow? So they grow on dead or decaying organic matter. So they can grow easily on the dead bodies of plants and animals, or they are non-photogenic. So they do not have chlorophyll pigment. So they nutrition. They take nutrition in the form of saprophytic ways. So they are saprotropes or saprophytic in nature. They feed on dead or decaying organic matter, and few are parasitic. So they parasite need a host. So nutrition wise they are not autotrophs, they are saprophytic and parasitic in nature. So few examples are given of fungi: mucor, mushroom, rhizopus. This is a bread mold. So on the bread, when there is a humidity or humid condition, our bread fungus grow on our bread. So that fungus is called bread mold, and this mold biological name is rhizopus. So you can see the black color or the white color outgrowth on the bread, that is rhizopus fungus. Next is aspergillus and penicillium. So penicillium fungus, Alexander Fleming scientist discovered the antibiotic penicillin, which for curing bacterial diseases. So this is the penicillium fungus, from which only he discovered or invented the penicillin. Now have a look, their body is multicellular and filamentous. So you can see their body is filaments, they are having that fine filaments, thread like structures. So you can see here they have the thread like structure here also. So this thread like structure of filamentous fungus is called mycelium. Now here you can see this is the fungal hyphae structure they are showing here, and this is called rhizoidal hyphae is called this mycelium. This yellow color you can see outgrowth, these are called fungus. So bread mold they are showing here of rhizopus. Next is which is composed of several thread like structure called hyphae. So these thread like structure you can see here and here, they are called hyphae. So here you can see labeling is also given. Now their cell wall are made up of chitin, not of cellulose. So they are not plant, so they are purely fungus. So their cell wall is made up of chitin and chitin and not of cellulose. So you should remember. Now they reproduce by spore formation. So they have the outgrowth, like you can see they have the from the hyphae one straight hyphae is emerging, that is called sporangiophore. You can see here sporangiophore. So from this hyphae or bunch of hyphae straight sporangiophore is emerging is coming out, and on the top of this sporangiophore there is a sporangium. So inside the sporangium so many spores are present. So whenever these spore wall ruptured, then these spores come out into the environment, and whenever they will get a favorable condition, these spores again will form fungus. Now they reproduce by spore formation. Now some fungi live in symbiotic relationship with blue green algae, means they need host. Okay, so symbiotically means mutually dependent, means they need they need shelter. Okay, so some fungi need shelter from the takes shelter from the blue green algae, and this algae need nutrition from the fungus for proper growth. So the fungus or algae combination is called lichen. So lichen are the that species or you can see a combination of algae and fungi is called lichen. So examples of fungi are given: mucor, rhizopus mold, which is a bread mold; agaricus, which is a mushroom; aspergillus, penicillium, and yeast. Remember that yeast is the unicellular eukaryote. Others are the multicellular. They are having the hyphae, filamentous thread like structures. So in this diagram also 2.11 they are showing you mucor. So you can see here sporangiophore, which is a erect one. Then it has the sporangium, and inside the sporangium spores are filled. Now there is a question: are fungi saprophytes or parasites? So some fungi, I told you, some fungi are saprophytes while some are parasites. So it is written, you can underline this line, that saprophytic fungi, what is the difference between the two? The saprophytic fungi feed on dead and decaying organic matter, whereas parasitic fungi feed on living matter. That is, means they grow on other plant and animal and take water and food and water from them. So this is called parasitic. So they feed on other living organism or living matter, and they are taking their like food and water for survival. So this is all about. So in the next you can see one activity is also given. So this mold I will explain you in the next video. So let's see this activity. So this activity, you know, to grow bread mold. So at home also you can grow the bread mold. For this you need only two things. You need one piece of bread and or bread slice or water. So sprinkle some water. You have to moist that bread. So sprinkle some water on the bread and keep it in a dark place or warm place for 2 to 3 days. You will get the result within 2 days also. Okay, but after the 2-3 days, please check the bread and throw in the dustbin, please. Okay, because fungus can cause diseases also then. Now observation is, you will after 2 days you will see when you will moist the bread or when you will keep it under the dark place, you will see a bluish fur like mass has grown on the slice of the bread. So this is a fungus, and the name of the bread mold fungus is Rhizopus. So you can grow the fungus at home by using bread slice and water, and you can see this activity. So if you want to do, you can do, otherwise no problem. Okay, now this about the mold I will explain you in the next video. So please, in our homework, read this part, kingdom 2 Protista and kingdom 3 fungi, and you can draw the diagram as well. So you can draw the diagram of amoeba and the binary fission in amoeba, and so figure 2.5 draw, figure 2.7 draw, and here figure 2.10 draw, because these terms are very important. So thank you, have a nice day, God bless you all, thank you.